work, one whole day to play. Come on, everybody, wear your roller skates today. It's Saturday, 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 it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, Saturday, it's Saturday, yeah.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Career Exploration Saturday. I'm your host, Fdny Tyler. I have real conversations with real people about real jobs. So this week, my guest is Olawale Lawal, one of New York's bravest. A shout out to Liberated Success board member Natasha Ward for introducing us to Olawale. We had a wonderful conversation. We talk about his mother's influence on his career path, New York City civil service, and why firefighters are always in the supermarket together, and what's up with the dog at the fire station. All right, let's jump right in. Good afternoon. Welcome, Olawale. I'm so glad to have you on Career Exploration Saturday. Welcome.
How you doing? Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, we start all the career conversations. Tell us about who 16-year-old Olawale was. Did you have it all together? Did you know what you wanted to be when you grow up?
Well, 16 Olawale was definitely not the person he is right now. I definitely did not have it all together at all, based on me being young and me believing that I had a world of options ahead of me. So, you've kind of just gave me a way to just make sure that I knew that I was full of opportunities, but not actually seizing any of them like at that age. Just me being fully optimistic and just ready to go to enter the world.
Like, what kind of opportunities did you have?
Well, just the fact that I knew my grades were really good in high school, so I knew that college was definitely one of the options. And because of the fact that I felt like I had various options and a lot of interests, including music and accounting, computer science, I just felt like, the world was my oyster. So even though I wasn't a senior yet, I knew that I had a couple of things to dive into once I got of age, of college.
That's kind of like a dope feeling, right? Like, yeah, I got options. I mean, I would think that's pretty liberating. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it was naive. It was me being naive as well. As I first, looking back at it, I feel like I was a little bit naive as well.
Okay. So did you go straight off to college when you graduated high school?
Yes, I did. I went straight off to college. I went to SUNY Del High, which was a school upstate about 3 hours from the city. And I majored in network administration.
Okay. So like, what kind of jobs were you hoping to get with a major in networking?
Potentially working at like maybe a IT help desk, working on network administration as far as putting to computers together and breaking them down again. Anything as far as on that sort regarding I can say you can see the guts of computers, just because I felt like I thought I would have an interest in that and I would develop it more once I actually arrived in college.
And while you were in college, did you have like any internships or any mentors to kind of like help you to get your foot in the door of that field?
Actually, no. I started realizing that I started realizing within the middle of my collegiate career that this wasn't for me, but I just wanted to finish, just because I wanted to make sure that I started what I finished. I didn't want to just leave it incomplete and just drop. I wanted drop the major. All the time that I put in, I just wanted to make sure that I finished it and have my degree by the time I was done.
Can I ask, like, what made you think it wasn't for you?
To be fully honest, what even gave me the idea to accept that major was my mom. My mom is a big influence on me. And with me not knowing exactly what to do, I kind of leaned to her as far as making the final decision. because she was such a big part of my life. And I just basically kind of went with her gut feeling.
Okay. But then somewhere midway, you were like,
Had to grow up. You had to, realize that at the end of the day, it's your life, so you should know what you want to do. Even though I was at a young age as well too, or of adolescence at that time, I did realize that eventually I had to do what was best for me. I might have had abilities to do like several things, but I had to stick with one thing, and make sure that I fully enjoyed it before, I can start calling it a career or extending a career.
okay. So you graduated, you head back to the city, you stayed up in Delhi, or you came back?
So I graduated. Once I graduated, I did go back to the city, and I was able to land a job as a promotions processor with Pfizer World Headquarters, which was located. The World Headquarters was located in the heart of the city. I think about uh, East 42nd Street. But because that was around that time, because it was around the heart of the like not the heart, around the beginning of the recession, I was let go within 3 months.
Oh, wow.
So as discouraging as that was, that's kind of what gave me even more liberation in order for me to just being like, okay, now I just have a degree and I don't have the job that I thought I would have straight out of college. So it's just like, okay, what do you have? And then just go from there.
So what happened? Tell us.
Okay, so I I was let go within 3 months of me being employed with that job. So at that time, I took even though I had a network administration business degree, I went to the Board of Education in the city in downtown Brooklyn, and I just let them know that I would like to do something with this, with this degree. And they said, okay, you can be a substitute teacher at this time. And I always had an interest in actually trying to teach and give back, even at that young age. I believe I was like 22. So I was a substitute teacher for a while for Medgar Evers High School, which was on Nostrand and Carroll, and also MS 61, which is located on Empire and New York Avenue. So I did that for about a year and a half until I was eventually called by the city based on some city exams that I took while I was in college. And so I took that job in about June of 2011. I took that job to be an eligibility specialist. And then based on another city exam, I think about a year later, I was called to do fraud investigation. And then I did that for about 2 years until eventually I was called by the fire department to take that job as far as going into the academy, and the rest is history.
All right, so let's back up because
okay, yeah, it's a lot, right?
Yeah, it is. But you touched on two things. Like,
okay,
you were called twice off of a civil service exam list.
Okay,
that you took in college.
Yes.
So how did you find out about the city exams? Did someone tell you? Did your school tell you?
Okay, well, my mom has actually been employed for this. She's actually worked for the city for about over 28 years.
Okay.
So she works at I believe it's she works at HRA as well. I don't remember her specific job title, but when I was in college, she did tell me just as a kind of covering your backside, just take some city exams just in case some things don't work out. And she was talking about and more specifically, she was talking about the recession, just try and take advantage of all the options that you have, even though, I wasn't really as interested with that at the time too. I thought to myself, she was right. So and it came in handy with me being let go once with the job I had straight out of college.
Okay, yeah, because you had two positions with HRA.
Yeah.
And both of them was civil service examinations.
Yes.
Okay. So, folks, we've had our civil service webinar. So, this is a way for you to see how all of this ties in. So now you're at Fdny.
Yes.
So what is that like? You out here saving lives.
Well, yeah, yeah, like you try to be modest about it, and it's like, well, yeah, kind of. So I believe it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
Wow.
Definitely the best decision I made professionally. I truly enjoy being a fireman. It's a privilege to be a civil servant. As far as with that being right on the front lines, as far as saving lives and property, and yeah, it's awesome.
So how long have you been a firefighter?
In 2 weeks, it'll be 6 years since
Okay.
I've been sworn in with the fire department.
So like walk us through the process because that's really why I wanted to have you on, right? Because you're a firefighter.
Oh, okay.
Walk us through the process. And it's like not a lot of Black people in the FDNY, right? It's a
That's true.
small portion. And I know a woman just became a lieutenant or something.
I'm not in the FDNY. I'm not too sure, but I would not be surprised. Especially minority firefighters, especially Black women firefighters. They are definitely like breaking the mold as far as doing exactly what's needed and more as far as with the standard with the FDNY. So I wouldn't even put it past you. I'm not too sure myself, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so walk us through, from you decided to make that decision to apply the academy. What's all involved?
Okay, so well, at that time I was working with HRA at that time as an eligibility specialist when I was recruited. I was just around my neighborhood and just walking past one of the schools I was around, and a gentleman was there, and he was advertising. Happened to be a Black gentleman, and he saw me, and he was like, "Oh, what's up, brother? How'd you like to be a firefighter?" And initially, I was like, I didn't even know he was looking at me, and I was kind of like, after a while, when I realized he was, I'm like, firefighter. I was like, I'm trying to leave a building. I'm not trying to go into a burning building if it's on fire. But once I took the time out to listen to him, and he gave me, he just let me listen about, just about the career, and he answered all of my questions. He was very respectful and really talked about the dignity that he acquired because he had about 15 years on the job at that time. And he just, emphasized how it was such a great decision and that it wouldn't hurt to at least take the exam, because even though I was still on the fence about it, again, just me trying to take advantage of all the opportunities that were presented to me, I really, really, really had a mind of just, making sure that I did that. So took the test, the written exam, got my results back within that year. I found out I did very well. So once I saw my results on the written test, I knew I had a shot to make it to the academy. More time went past, I think about maybe like a full year again. During that time, I went through a series of background info checkups, kind of an obstacle course, like a mini obstacle course before the academy, kind of just to test your physical ability, cardiovascular ability, et cetera, et cetera. And I went through all of that. And then in order to enter the academy, one of the main things that you have to do is run a mile and a half in under 13 minutes. Once you could do that, then you were deemed able to enter the academy, and then eventually you got sworn in. Eventually you get sworn in. Me personally, I got sworn in on my birthday. I was sworn in on December 29th, 2014. So December 29th, 2020, that's what will make 6 years. And it's also real cool because every time my birthday arrives, that's another year in the FDNY. So makes it real cool.
Look at
And
that. So
yeah.
you and Tasha got the same birthday.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
I'm born
do.
in
She
the
never lets me forget it.
All right, so then you definitely cool people, Capricorn, right?
Yes, yes.
So I have a question about the background check. What is all involved in the background check? Like, how far are they looking?
um, okay, so it goes as far as criminal history, your medical history, uh, What else? I think those are that's what pretty much sums it up. But it's just a very thorough process. So
Okay.
your criminal and medical history, just to make sure that you're fully healthy in order to endure, the rigorous training that they put you through the academy. Obviously, criminal history to make sure that you have no, no series as far as since you're entering the, the FDNY, having peace officer status and, yeah.
So how long is the academy?
As of right now, the academy is about 4.5 months. It's a paramilitary. FDNY is a paramilitary program. So as far as the physical, mental strain that it takes on your body, I feel like it's very real. It's Monday through Friday. It's 4.5 months, Monday through Friday. They have a summer and a winter class as well. So you're battling the elements with both classes. I was personally in the winter class. Even though I'm a winter baby, I personally hate the winter. Like even with the snow outside, I'm looking at it. It's like dreadful to me. I hate being cold. And I had to go through a winter academy class, which made it, even more tough. Again, battling the elements like ice and snow and all that. And the academy usually goes on unless you have like just a big blizzard or something like that. So every single day, it was almost like torture getting to the finish line as far as passing the academy and being set out onto the field.
So is the academy in New York City? Do you go away? Do you live there? Do you get to go home every day?
So it's on Randall's Island, which is like right on the border of like I think Manhattan and the Bronx. It's well not even on the border. It's like a big bridge that you have to if you take what is it, the RFK bridge, and you go straight there, you go straight to Randall's Island, and it's like it's like right between Manhattan and the Bronx.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you get to go home every day.
Yeah, but that's what made it even more tough as compared to a military program, or like if you were going into it made it different from like you being in the actual military because speaking to a lot of military vets and stuff, at least you're like being in the military, at least you were there. You're there for wherever you're stationed at, you're there for the duration of training or anything like that. But having to go back and forth, going, and not me personally, I lived in Brooklyn, and having to go back and forth each day, Monday through Friday, it made it that much more harder, And again, in the winter time, like with the winter time, battling the elements, it being freezing, sometimes it could be ice on the road if it's snowing. It like none of those are excuses. We had to make sure that we were there to make it for roll call in order for us to complete the whole process.
What time was roll call?
Roll call was at, what was it? At like, maybe like, I think at 6 o'clock.
AM.
We had, 6 o'clock in the morning that we had to be on that line getting ready to go. So you can imagine what time we had to wake up and, and we had partners. We broke off in different groups where we like each guy had a partner so that you had like traveling buddies. We had to find out the first week who we lived near so that we can carpool to the academy together and do that for 4.5 months.
So one who is considering going to the academy needs to be disciplined.
Oh, absolutely. That's that's almost essential. If you're not disciplined, then you're just gonna have a very, very rough time there. You're not going to enjoy the process very much. Not saying that it's that much more. Not saying that there's much enjoyment in the first place, but you do make it more difficult for yourself.
Okay. And then like, how do you like maintain your physical health? Because that's a strenuous job, right? Mm-hmm. And like, were you in good shape before, or did you have to like get in shape? Because you mentioned you had to be able to run a mile in 13 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it was once I did well on a written test, that's when I knew that I had to, kind of shift my lifestyle because I knew that I had a real shot, and I refused to enter the academy or just like, or not enter the academy based on my own physical health. Like that was all stuff that I can control with me, you know, every single minute. So once I got a great score on my written test, I knew I was in okay shape, but I just wanted to be in excellent shape, in the best shape I can be. So I just, you know, made sure that I made sure that I ran 5 miles every day, from up until getting to the run test. As far as what I was eating, just tried to make sure that it, you know, it was healthy based on all the knowledge that I had at that time. And I think I've been trying to do it like that ever since. You know, I take my health very seriously. And even after 6 years, I feel like it's with me having that type of time, even though it's not you know, it's definitely not a full career. It's enough for me to be wise enough to just make sure that I take everything into account when it comes to me being as healthy as I can, whether it comes to mental, you know, mental health and physically.
Oh, all right. Well, tell us a little bit about the mental health. Like, how do you have to keep your mental health sharp for that type of job?
Well, obviously, just, you know, I think the job description of a fireman is pretty straightforward, as far as saving lives and property and dealing with emergencies and making, you know, either like life or death decisions at the drop of a hat. And unfortunately, with some of the decisions that we make and the things that we see, it's definitely not for regular people, as far as you know, possibly seeing dead bodies or injured bodies. You know, just certain acts of destruction in which, like, we're right on the front line where we have to be. So, you know, if you don't, you know, as far as making sure that you talk to people, like-minded people, or like, you know, some of your coworkers, as far as some of the experiences that you had with some of the operations that we've had, if they could be a little bit too graphic, or if they can be, you know, you just see something that a regular civilian doesn't see. Being able to speak to your coworkers about it, making sure that you take the breaks that you need if you know that you're not 100%, as far as maybe possibly going through things at home, and you know you're not all the way there as far as being focused, knowing when to take the time out to like take a break. That's very important. And yeah, I think those are the two like big things that I can recall of right now, as far as really helping with your mental health and keeping your mind right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, and thanks for saying mental health, because there's like a big stigma against around mental health in our community, and especially if you have a job or a career that you're seeing things, you have to be able to take care of yourself, because then you're not any good for anybody on your job. You're not even good
Absolutely.
for yourself, right?
Exactly.
So what
Absolutely.
so what happens after you graduate the academy? You take your oath, then what? They send you to like the local firehouse. You get to pick. How does it work?
Um, well, if um, if you win the fitness award, there's a fitness award that we have there. If you win the fitness award, then I believe you get to choose your battalion,
Mm.
which means that you know, you can at least pick the city and the area, a specific area of where you want to go to. Within that class of the academy as well too, we have a salutatorian and valedictorian. I'm not very sure as far as what the salutatorian gets to pick, but I know the valedictorian, the person with the best overall grades, they get to choose specifically where they go.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So where did they wind up sending you?
Oh, well, I was sent, I was born and raised in Brooklyn. Um, been a Brooklyn guy all my life. And luckily and I was born and raised in Crown Heights specifically, and they sent me to Bedford Stuyvesant, in which I currently work right now. It's on Hancock and Lewis, in Bed-Stuy, and it's great. I'm in the heart of Brooklyn. Um, all types of different structures around there, as far as my job is concerned, as far as all types of different buildings, which gives us more of a it just gives us more to look at as far as training goes and our standard of operations and et cetera.
So that's nice. You get to work in your community.
Absolutely. That is, I don't take that for granted, and I'm truly honored to be able to serve the community in which I grew up in.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's like a regular day like? Are you just like waiting around? And why do we always see the firefighters in? I have two stereotypical questions, right? So like,
Okay.
why do we always see the firefighters together in the supermarket? And what's up with the dog?
Okay, so the first question, you see firefighters in the supermarket because usually, especially in New York City, firefighters are known for making their own meals. We make our own meals. Every firehouse is, generally a house. You have beds, you have, bathrooms, and you have kitchens. And the kitchen, that's where a fireman is, he should definitely be at home. So you'll see us in the supermarket because we're all shopping. We're all shopping in the supermarket to see what we're going to eat for lunch or what we're going to eat for dinner. And, we cook our own thing. It's a part of the culture. It's a part of the tradition with the Fdny. And, that's definitely a good quality for a brother to have, any dude that can cook, right? And if you can't cook, after at least, I would say at least a year in the fire department, you definitely have to, you definitely have to add at least one recipe to your repertoire. After a full year in the Fdny, you should know how to cook something,
Okay.
at least one go-to meal. And the second thing, as far as with the dog, that's straight stereotypical because there's nothing with that. Any firehouse that has their own dog or maybe like a Dalmatian, Dalmatian is like a popular animal affiliated with firefighters. There's nothing with that. It's just, I guess it's just a myth. There's nothing with dogs or anything like that. Some guys that like dogs in their firehouse and maybe make them their mascot or just their dog for them. That's just for them.
Okay.
Nothing that's completely necessary.
So what's a typical day like? And then do you work every day? Do you have like every other day off? How does the schedule work?
The thing about being a firefighter, the appeal that goes along with it is that there is no such thing as a typical day in the life of a firefighter because anything could happen. We could be eating dinner. We could be eating dinner at 7:00, all sharing experiences at the dinner table, and at the drop of a hat, we could get a call for, a fire on the roof of a 4-story structure, and it just changes everything, So, with that being said, the only thing that basically the thing that is constant with us, and I would think with firefighters all over the city, is just being ready. Once we put on our uniforms, we just have to make sure that we are ready to do our jobs because we have to be ready at the drop of a hat as far as getting that call and, for a structure that could be on fire or somebody that needs help. That's really it. So no day is typical and no day is ever the same with us.
And then do you work like a regular Monday through Friday, weekends off?
Yeah, typically, for the most part, our schedules are not typical as well. We have very flexible schedules, and we do something called mutuals where, first of all, if you say for a full month, I'll say a firefighter typically works, 8 or 9 days, 8 or 9 full days out of that month based on the charts that we have. And we have also something called mutuals where, say I have a child and he has a football game on Thursday, but I have to work on Thursday. I can call any one of my coworkers or my partners and ask them, hey, can you work on this Thursday for me? And I'll take your Friday or I'll take your Saturday and something like that, where you can exchange shifts just to meet your meet your needs. It's one of the best work schedules that you could ever have. So no typical work schedule either. It's just, all I can say is that it's very flexible.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you another question about your city employment. So and this is just because, I think it's important for people to understand civil service time. So your time as a substitute, your time at HRA, does that all connect to your time at FDNY in terms of like when you can retire and your pension and all those good things and benefits?
Right. So as far as the times where I was a substitute, no, that doesn't count as city time at all because I didn't have the official civil service title.
Okay.
My time with HRA though, that time counts on the back end of my pension for the FDNY. But actual time for the city, okay, so with the FDNY, after 5 years, you achieve a certain salary, which is like about over, I'll say a little bit over six figures. And because I did 2 hours, because I did 2 years at HRA, does that mean that I only have to do 3 years with the FDNY in order to get top pay? No, it doesn't work like that. Once you enter the FDNY, as far as the salary goes, you go all the way from zero and got to start, all the way from the bottom to fulfill your time with the salary. But as far as with the time and it being pensionable, that does transfer over to the back end with the FDNY.
Okay. Now, how old can you be to retire from FDNY?
I think the youngest because in order for you to be a firefighter, you have to be a New York City firefighter, you have to be at least 21 years old. Mm-hmm. So, but in order to take the written test, all you have to do is be, 17 and a half. So, yes. So you can actually take the test immediately and pass all the qualifications by the age of 20, but they cannot employ you until after your 21st birthday. And with that being said, the youngest you can retire, since the youngest you can start is basically 21, is I would say about 43, 44. That's how the earliest that you can retire as a firefighter. Because you have to do 22 and a half years and 25 for the full pension, but you can retire after 22 and a half years, and 21 plus 22 and a half, that's about 43, 44. You're looking pretty good as far as being
right. That's not bad.
You're looking pretty good. Yes.
So we need to get more young people,
Absolutely.
I mean, when I go to high schools, I see FDNY. They're out there actively trying to recruit, but the kids ain't really checking.
I'm a part of that team as well. I'm a part of the recruitment team with the FDNY. So I've also been out there in those streets, in the subways, at the DMV, various sites all over New York City, trying to, preach about that, the careers that we have, and that it's a great thing. But you can only lead, people to the drinking fountain. You can't make them drink.
So give us your pitch. Give us your FDNY pitch.
Okay, so all right. So say I'm at the what can I say? Say I'm at the on the Atlantic subway downstairs at the terminal, and I see a young brother, maybe he looks like he's about 17, 18, and he comes around and he's wearing the latest kicks or whatever, latest Jordans, and I'll just be like, hey, what's up, man? You ever thought about being a firefighter? And typically it'll be like, a firefighter? What you talking about, man? Like, I don't want to be a firefighter. I want to play in the NBA. I want to play in the NFL, talk about their dreams. And I'm like, that's all cool, man. But what if that doesn't work out? There's some astronomical, odds as far as you making the NFL or the NBA. And that's if you're really, really, really good. Now, once I hit them with that, they'd be like, oh, nah, but I'm going to be, I'm going to be the one to, break the odds and everything. And I'm like, yo, that's good, man. But just trying to tap in and use my experience as far as displaying to them, I try to let them know that, just weigh your options and just take advantage. You never know. Just put your name in the hat for as much as you can, because nothing is promised, Let them know I've been in their shoes before. I'm not that much more older than them. And, just try to let them know, especially the gentlemen, especially young Black men, try to let them know that, it's best to just take advantage of every opportunity that you see right there. You never know. And, yeah, that's basically it. So always just try to come down to their level and just be relatable, and let them know, hey, it's right. We're here. If we're here with the opportunities. Now you just got to take advantage of them. So, that's all you can do.
All right. So final question. Any
Okay.
advice you would give a young person who is interested in applying to the FDNY?
Okay. So, number one, the first thing I would do is say, any person interested in joining the FDNY as a firefighter, I would say do your research. As much as I would want to tell, a brother or sister that they should just come along and they, just come along for a ride, come join us. At the end of the day, it's a tough job. It takes a special person to do this job and to do it well. It's a job in which you're always learning. You'll definitely be challenged. You'll definitely be challenged if you are a minority. And but it'll be worth it. At the end of the day, if you put into it what you're supposed to, it'll be worth it. And I'm after 6 years, it's just one of the best decisions I ever made. I don't regret it at all. And if you won't regret it either.
Olawale, this was
Yes.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Tyler, for the opportunity to speak to you. Very privileged, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Olawale. So some takeaways are, at 17 and a half years old, you are eligible to take the FDNY written exam. Start employment at 21 years old and be retired with a full pension at 44. Wow. All right. It's a privilege to be a civil servant. Imagine if everyone who works in public service had that attitude. The world would be a better place. It's a privilege to serve your community. Thank you for that reminder. And 3, being a firefighter is not only a physically difficult job, but it also can take a toll on your mental health because of the things you may see and experience. It's important to take breaks and talk about what you're experiencing. Thank you so much, Olawale, and welcome to the Liberated Success family. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. If you find our work impactful, informative, and important, show us some love with a donation. Donation links are in my bio on IG, Twitter, and YouTube. It's the first comment on Facebook. And if you're listening on the podcast, show us some love with a listener donation, a donation via listener support. And don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast, follow us on IG, Facebook, and Twitter. All right, wear your mask, wash your hands, physically distance. Even if you got that vaccine, you still got to wear your mask, and you still got to physically distance. And Black lives still matter. All Black lives matter. All right, see you next week. Bye.
One whole day to play. Come on, everybody.